It was a cold, rainy evening in a small town tucked between distant hills, where the streets emptied early and strangers were rare. Emily, a 23-year-old waitress who worked double shifts at a rundown diner, was just locking up after another exhausting day. Her soaked jacket clung to her skin, and her shoes squished with every step. The world always seemed colder after midnight, especially when you were alone. She was halfway to her apartment when she noticed them, a tall man with a beard, soaked through like her, carrying a little boy, maybe 6 or 7, who had his face buried in the man's chest. They stood under a flickering street lamp, trying to shield themselves from the downpour. Something in the boy's shivering, in the way the man clutched him tightly with desperate care, made Emily stop. Most people would have walked past. But Emily's heart was too soft for that. "Are you two all right?" she called out. The man hesitated, clearly caught off guard. "We're okay," he replied with a tired smile. "Just trying to find somewhere to stay. Everything's full, or closed." Emily looked down the street. He wasn't lying. The cheap motels in the area were either booked or out of business. Something in his voice, not begging, not pity-seeking, just raw and exhausted, broke through her usual caution. "I live just down the road," she said carefully. "It's nothing fancy, but it's warm. You both can stay for the night, if you'd like." He looked at her, clearly surprised, and then down at the boy. I don't know what to say." "Just say yes," Emily said with a small smile. "The kid looks like he needs a hot drink and a bed." She didn't know his name, and he didn't ask hers. But they followed her through the rain to her tiny one-bedroom apartment. It smelled like cinnamon and old books, and the heater took a minute to warm up, but it was home. She gave the little boy her own blanket, made him hot cocoa, and found an old t-shirt for him to sleep in. The man stayed quiet, only watching with a strange, grateful expression that flickered with emotion. "My name's Jack," he finally said as she handed him a dry towel. "And this is Leo. I'm Emily." "Thank you, Emily." "Really? You didn't have to." She nodded. "I know. But I wanted to." Jack slept on the couch. Leo curled up beside Emily's little armchair with a stuffed bear she'd kept from her own childhood. That night, Emily didn't sleep much. She kept thinking about how kind Jack had seemed, how fiercely he'd protected his son, how something about him felt familiar, yet heavy. Like he was carrying more than just a tired child. The next morning, the rain had stopped, and the sun painted soft gold across the windowpane. Emily made pancakes. Leo laughed for the first time, and Jack smiled, really smiled. It lit up his face. "I wish we could stay longer," Jack said, as he helped clear the table. "But I have a few things to take care of." She nodded. "It was nice meeting you both." Jack turned to her, serious now. "You didn't ask me anything. You let a stranger into your home, gave us warmth and food. Why?" Emily shrugged. "Because I've been there. I know what it's like to feel lost." There was silence. Then Jack leaned in and said, "I'll never forget this. You helped us when we had nothing." And just like that, he left. Weeks passed. Emily went back to her routine, working at the diner, coming home to her books and quiet apartment. She thought about Jack and Leo more than she wanted to admit. Sometimes she wondered if they were okay, where they had gone, if they even remembered her. Then one day, everything changed. It was a Tuesday. The diner was unusually quiet when a sleek black car pulled up outside. Emily barely noticed until a man in a tailored suit walked in. His eyes searched the room until they found her. It was Jack. But not the Jack she remembered. This Jack had a presence. The exhaustion was gone. He looked powerful, composed, and very, very rich. "I hope I'm not interrupting," he said with a small smile. Emily stared. "Jack? What? I need to talk to you, he said. Can we step outside? She followed him out, heart pounding. I wasn't completely honest, he began. I didn't lie, but I didn't tell you who I am. Okay, she said cautiously. I'm the CEO of Virion Holdings. It's a company my father built, and I took over a few years ago. I recently went off the grid for personal reasons, to reevaluate life, to understand what really matters. He paused. Leo's mother passed away last year. Everything became too much. I wanted to know what it felt like to be just a dad, not a businessman. That night, we had nowhere to go because I didn't want my staff or anyone to find me. You were the first person to offer help with nothing to gain. Emily couldn't speak. You changed something in me, Emily. You reminded me what kindness looks like. And that one small act meant more than anything money could buy. He reached into his coat and handed her a sleek envelope. Inside was a letter, and a check. I bought the old bookstore across the street. I'm reopening it as a community center and cafe. I want you to run it. I want to give you the life you deserve. Not because you helped me, but because I believe in people like you. Tears welled in her eyes. Jack, I don't know what to say. Just say yes, he said softly. Just like you did that night. That was the beginning. Emily became the heart of the community center. Children came in after school for books and warm cookies. Struggling families found support. People came not for what they could buy, but for what they could feel, hope, comfort, connection. Jack and Leo visited often. Over time, Jack and Emily's bond grew into something deeper. Not rushed. Not forced. Just real. People always whispered stories, about the poor waitress and the millionaire CEO, but what they missed was the truth. Kindness costs nothing but changes everything. And for Emily, opening her door that rainy night didn't just give someone else a place to rest, it opened a door to a future she never thought she deserved. But now, she was living it.